analysis to look at the socio-cultural factors that affect our company, along with the technology, the economic factors, the political and legal environment that's going on, and also how our company is affected by the environment. First, looking at the socio-cultural one of our biggest changes recently was Barbie. So Barbie had been declining in sales for a little while, and some people think it was because of either the body image or the gender roles that were going on. So if you look at the right, see the picture of Barbie, and this is the new Barbie that they came out with, which is curvy and a shorter Barbie, which people think is a more realistic body image for girls to look at, unlike the tall, skinny Barbie of the past. Well, that is still around. They're trying to diversify, so you get Barbies of every shape and size, so each girl has someone that kind of they can relate more to, and hopefully this will drive more parents to buy them, because parents are becoming more and more concerned with how their kids are brought up and think about themselves and positive body images. Along with that, they're also looking to enhance role models. So we look at computer tech Barbie. So girls are not confined to the gender roles they have been in the past. So looking at people who are, there's an engineer Barbie and just traditional male jobs that have been in the past, they want to implement that in so girls really know that they can also do those as well. And hopefully that people will buy their Barbies based on that want of their girls to be able to have a body image that's positive and also a career path that they think they can actually take. Another problem with socio-cultural is that kids want to be more hands-on. Kids like building stuff, they like doing things nowadays. So Lego has taken a huge market share from us because of this. They already had that built into their company, is that they are builders. So looking at this from our point of view, we ended up going out and buying Mega Bloks, which is a competitor of Lego, and we hope we can use our stronger, bigger brand to enhance Mega Bloks and make it a true competitor of Lego, so that these kids that want to do this, these hands-on, building their own toys type things, can actually do that with our new Mega Bloks acquisition. And finally, we're looking at Fisher-Price marketing. One of the keys for millennial mothers is honesty. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to. They want to know that they're buying a good product, and that product, they're getting all the facts about that product right up front. And because the millennial mothers are the ones that are buying these toys, so the 1 to 5 year olds, so people that are graduating college soon will have kids, they're the ones you have to target with this new market for your Fisher-Price line that's targeted toward these 1 to 5 year olds. Next, we'll look at the technological effects that are coming over our company. So obviously the biggest thing is cell phones and tablets. Kids are spending way more time on them. They're spending less time with toys, so they need less toys. So it's really the biggest threat to the industry. These games and apps kids are spending all their time on, kids have these tablets when they're under the age of 10, so they're not spending their time playing with a toy, they're spending their time playing with the same type of toy online. So looking at, like, if in the past kids would play with action figures and set up with them, but now these same heroes that they would have as action figures they can play with on a game and actually do the things that they see them do in the movie. So that's a draw away from toys and towards these apps and games on smartphones and tablets that we have now to compete with. So we have had some digital presence at Mattel. We've had some games that have been successes, but not the same as traditional toys. A big problem for that is we don't have the same barriers to entry and pricing power that we do, because there's no barriers to entry in these digital markets. People can come up with these games in their garages, and companies pop up left and right that are making these games. We don't have that advantage that we have with our economies of scale and manufacturing and producing and distributing the traditional toys now, because we've lost that presence in the traditional toy market. It's now going more towards these digital games. We don't have that same type of gross margin and that we do with traditional toys. So looking forward, we're trying to get ahead and see what happened with digital and try and get the next wave of stuff. So we're looking back towards that social-cultural need of people to build stuff. So there's 3D printers that people are trying to make where kids can actually build their own toys, and making a user face, an interface that's very user-friendly. So trying to find the next wave of how kids are going to play and how we can make that better and sell these kids is a big part of our technological strategy. So economic, we're looking at inflation. We are an exporter and we have a lot of foreign business, so that's huge for us, making sure that inflation doesn't happen in the United States too much. Also, we don't want too strong of a dollar. So right now, QE has been happening in Europe, so they have been weakening their currency, and there's been talks in the United States about strengthening the dollar. This is bad for us because when we bring our money back from overseas or have to convert that, we lose money on that. And also, our toys are less likely to be sold overseas if the dollar is strong, because the toys are cheap. The toys are cheaper in China or in England from a Chinese or an English toy manufacturer, rather than buying the stronger dollar. Another thing that's happened is we've seen gas prices have dropped with oil. This means that consumers have had more money in their pockets. Experts say it could be up to $800 for a family. But the problem, we haven't seen that spending increase. People have been saving more money since the market crashed in 2008. We haven't seen them going out and spending more on their kids. During the Christmas season, which is a huge time for Mattel, being a very cyclical business, when we see huge sales around the Christmas season or holiday season, and we don't see them they're stabilized throughout the year. So with that spending not really being pushed in the market, we haven't seen our salesmen pushed up or anything like that. So also we have huge factors of globalization and access to other markets. Because we have those economies of scale, we can come into markets and produce the goods that these people need, like in India and China. Although there's some huge cultural differences we have to overcome and learn about, having the huge manufacturing capabilities and the capital to expand in these companies gives us a huge advantage over everyone except our major competitor Hasbro, which is trying to do the exact same thing as us. And finally, somewhat related to inflation and QE, is interest rate hikes. If interest rates do go up, it will hurt our ability to get debt cheap, like we've talked about in the past. But it also could signal, when interest rates go up, that the economy is getting stronger and people will be more willing to spend their money, especially on toys for their kids and whatnot. So but then one more thing it could do is strengthen the dollar. When our interest rates go up, more people will be looking to buy U.S. Treasury bonds because they have a higher interest rate than, let's say, a German or an English bond. So people are going to be trying to buy U.S. dollars, which will push up the value of the dollar, hurting us as an exporter and a company that has a lot of foreign business. We also have a lot of political and legal factors that are functioning in. So because we have money overseas, tax inversions are a big deal for us. So what a tax inversion is people want to buy a company in another country so that they can avoid paying the tax when they bring their money back home to the United States. That gets double taxed afterwards. So after they pay the tax in England, they would have to bring the money back to the United States and it would get taxed on top of the tax it already was in England. So if people try and crack down on those, we could possibly be hurt because we do have money overseas. But also, both sides want to fix this problem, and they've been trying to lower the rate that is required when companies bring money back overseas. So both sides want to fix it, but typical Washington is they can't agree on how, and they can't agree on where that money is going to go when they open up for people to bring their money back in overseas. But one of the big things, if we do move into more tech-based games, we can recognize a lot of that revenue overseas, and if tax inversions are cracked down on, that's going to hurt us in the future there. Another thing, obviously, is the presidential election that's coming up in the fall. So we have some big candidates, Bernie Sanders, Trump, and Clinton. Bernie Sanders really wants to lower corporate profits by taking away with taxes. He has some backing, but it doesn't look like he has a huge shot to win, so we're going to stick more with Trump and Clinton. Trump wants to lower taxes, but he also wants to have high regulation on these tax evasions. So as a company that follows tax law but also has a lot of money overseas, it could really go a couple ways. We're not entirely sure how Trump will affect our effective tax rate of 21.45%. Clinton, on the other hand, wants to raise taxes on big companies and corporations and kind of help small businesses. Finally, environmental. We have a big deal with our packaging, paper versus plastic. Paper costs the lives of trees. People say it's hurting the rainforest when we use paper products in our packaging. And plastic, on the other hand, is also bad for the environment. So some packaging is all paper, some is mostly plastic, some is a mix of both. So the problem with this is the solution to this costs money, but it's something we have to do to keep the environmentalists friendly, keep our customers friendly. So it's just something we have to do. So over the last few years, we've moved towards using 85% of our packaging is recycled products. So we're not taking it from the rainforest. We're not making new plastic. We're just breaking down old stuff and reusing it in a good way. And we've also cut down our emissions over the last 5 years. We've reduced our energy consumption by 33% by becoming more efficient. Same with CO2 emissions. To that same T, because we're not using much energy, we're not releasing as much CO2 in the air. We've cut that down by 38%. Water consumption, another efficiency, is down 54%. This comes with an increase in technology that can tell exactly how much water we need and where it needs to go. So being able to be more efficient helps in that rate. And also, we've cut down organic compound emissions by 70%. Our non-hazardous and hazardous waste are down 30% and 16% respectively.